Sam, can you hear this?
Is there sound? There's no sound that I can hear at the
Yeah.
moment.
Okay. Please help yourself with some cakes or Portuguese style. I haven't had lunch, so just
Like, Ellie, did you?
I did. I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't. No, there's Mitcham Shopping Centre. There's a Portuguese, like they actually all they sell is Portuguese cards.
Oh, right.
So I just went and bought, a couple of boxes of those.
Oh, good.
Good stuff. Pound weight.
Central markets now as well.
Oh,
When I was in City, it was very.
Oh. I know they're so good. So yeah. All right. So excellent. Let's just start. We just work with that. We'll try to work it. Yeah. Okay. Hi everybody. Okay, we've got a few more people coming in. Hello. Oh, hi Jack. How are you? We're just about to start and it's perfect timing. All right, we've got a few people online. Hi, everybody. Can you hear us? Hi, team.
Sure can.
Okay, Ellie.
Yeah. Hello. Excellent. All right. Thank you all. I know there's a few more people going to join us in person. So, but first, just want to say hello. Thank you all for being here. This is the first larger local government roundtable. Last year we had a smaller one, which was nice. It was just a small group of people together talking about FME, their experiences. A lot of us, in the room were new to FME. This year there is a little bit more involvement with FME. A few different councils have been engaged with FME a bit more, and we just thought it's a good time to start, bringing those experiences together, sharing that, and hopefully within the community and larger, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. That's the point of this. So today, just going through a bit of a intro. My name is Ellie Zogi, work for One Spatial. One Spatial is a global company, head office in the UK, and we've got a really beautiful Australian team, which we're spread all around Australia as well. Everything we do is location, master data management, our own tools, as well as FME, which we're reselling from FME Safe Software in Canada. So we are a leading reseller in the globe. That's a little bit about us today. We're talking about a little bit about FME. What is FME is, just very basic stuff. I might get Sam to talk about that a little bit as well. And then FME local government, which I've got, this is a bit of an older one. That's all right, we'll work it out. Yeah, so we go through that together. Just sorry about that. I might need to actually share another PowerPoint. It's a bit of an older one. Yeah. Which one did we share? Because the first one. Oh, that's the second one. We're just going to stop sharing and share the right one. I'm sorry about that. I did work on that one, so I thought that doesn't look like a new one. Okay, that's better. And yeah. While we're getting that sorted, if we can go around the table just for a bit of an intro, that would be great. Is that okay for me? Yeah. Just before we get to that, do you mind start from there?
Chris Lyon, asset planner at Adelaide.
Excellent. Nice to meet you, Chris.
My name's Dominic. I'm from the City of Salisbury and I deal with GIS and the asset management system we use Confirm.
Excellent. Thank you.
Ellen Murphy, asset planner, City of Adelaide.
Excellent.
I'm Jess from City and yes, special analyst.
Thank you so much.
Kyle McDonald, I said I'm sitting there. Consultant.
Thank you.
Jack, working for City of Teacher Valley and since safety level. Jack, work.
Thank you.
Jeffrey Hogarth, I'm the GIS guy at City West London.
Excellent. Thank you.
Ben, I'm the GIS leader at City of London.
And I'm Dan, I'm from City of Chelmsford. Welcome.
I'm the asset analyst and I work between the asset register and the GIS space.
Brilliant. And Fiona?
I'm Fiona, I'm also from City of Charlotte, work as a analyst and at the moment, my to the GIS strategy for the organization.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Do you wanna? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we
Georgie.
just asked, Georgie, Port Adelaide Enfield, Team Lady GIS.
Thank you.
And yeah. Adelaide, yes.
Thank you so much. So got a few people from Port Adelaide Enfield, 3 of you took, 4 of you. Yeah, Ellen recently joined, brilliant. And I just want to say thank you for Kyle and Jess. They're our guests today. They're not from local government, but they were really interested to know more about FME. So we just said, yeah, more than welcome to join us. So that's not a problem at all. So, yeah,
Before we kick off, I'd acknowledge the current country, the traditional custodians of the land we meet today. And we respect the elders present and past. And this is a short video done as a collaboration project with that Port Adelaide and Enfield.
Sorry, I might have to weigh in here. I think we
Yeah.
might have lost audio, Ellie, because we can't hear anything.
Oh, okay. Sorry, just enjoy the video.
Oh, okay. So, all good.
Hey, Ellie,
Yes.
just checking. We still can't see your screen if you're showing screen on your computer.
Seeing any video?
Nope. Oh, there we go. We can see the video now, but just can't hear it.
Yeah, still no sound.
It's a welcome to the country. It's a beautiful one. We share it after this.
Okay.
online.
Yeah.
All right, thank you everybody for listening. So Fiomi, please go ahead.
Yeah, the restrooms are, they are the first picture in the back wall. We have hung the access card, just use it if you want to go in. And if there's an emergency, just, the card is in the door. Emergency, just follow the sign, and the fire assembly point is in the rear car park if there's any need. Thanks for coming today. I'm really glad to be here, and I'm very excited about the session. And Ellie, we can kick off now.
Perfect, excellent. Sorry about this little hiccups. We're just setting everything up. All right, now let's just go back to. I just want to check online. Everybody can hear us okay now?
Yep.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Shirley.
Sure can.
Excellent. Oh, thank you. We just skipped these. Vince, unfortunately, he's sick, so he can't be here. Fiomi is hosting us today. Thanks again. I should actually thank Fiomi and City of Charleston, then everyone here for actually accepting to host this roundtable. Hopefully, we'll get this around the local governments. Last year it was City of Port Adelaide, so really grateful for that. As before it says, the hope is that we can share the experiences so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So my name is Elizoli, as I mentioned. Today we're going to be talking about FME, and most importantly, we're going to hear about you and your experiences with FME, and whoever is interested to know more about, hopefully we'll get something out of it. Just a quick intro on what FME is, which might be useful for whoever is not using it. Feature manipulation engine is what FME stands for. It's got with few part to that software FME form where you author your processes. So no matter if it is integration, if it is to do with data ETL side of things, or if it is just a pure translation from one format to another, you do everything, you author everything in FME form. And FME flow is more where you're going to do enterprise side of things. So with FME using for the special data management, enabling seamless integration and transformation of complex data sets. That's more of an official terms for that. Then just a little few things about that, utilization of that data quality and validation, interoperability and integration, and the huge advantage of FME as opposed to other means, like, for example, scripting and all of that, is that visual workflow authoring, that visually and self-documentation that you can see. And I hear that from a lot of my clients, that self-documentation is huge advantage there. And extensive data format support. Just a little visual for people that haven't seen what does FME workflow look like in FME form. As you can see, it's pretty easy to follow what's happening. You've got annotation potential. You can put down what each process is doing and so on. With FME flow, that's where it's an enterprise web enterprise tool. And it's for automation. Kyle, you mentioned, as you said, you want to incorporate more automation. So that's where FME flow can use the power of that engine of FME form and where the processes are to be able to create those automation. Self-service capability are there. So for example, if you want a web service that people drag and drop data, go through a validation process, trigger something, a workflow, and then give you results, that sort of automation and self-service can be part of using FME flow. You can use webhooks, emails as triggers, and so on. So mine is finishes here. Sam, you're always great at explaining things. Is there anything that you want to mention for people that haven't used FME and might be interesting to just hear a few words from you?
Sure.
I just
yeah.
Sam, I'm so sorry. Do you mind going through introduction first because we forgot completely online people?
That's what I was about to say, was that I was going to say, before I get into it, I'll introduce myself as well. So there's definitely a handful of people here who know me, and definitely a lot of people probably don't know me. But my name's Sam McDonald. I'm one of the senior consultants at One Spatial. I've got actually got an electronic and biomedical engineering background, but I think like so many people in geospatial, half the people in geospatial were planning to go in the field, and the other half ended up in the field, and they're not quite sure how they got there, but I'm glad I found it, and I've never left since. It's always an interesting industry. And yes, FME. So I've been working with FME for quite a while now, and I think, Ellie, you've highlighted quite a few of the reasons that people would like to get into it, but just to give it a very quick description that I like for FME is that because FME it's a spatial ETL tool, ETL being extract, transform, and load. The intent being of taking what you have and transforming it into what you want. And what FME does really well, it offers what we like to call a codeless programming environment, a visual drag and drop environment to allow you to compile simplistic right through to very complex transformation processes that that can basically take your disparate data sources, might be singular ones, it might be many ones across different environments, different types of data, databases, web services, and files, and compose something that's a sum of its products and even better. And why I come from a programming background. I'm saying this as someone comes from a programming background from Python and C++, but visual programming mediums like FME, the fact that they are visual, that you are connecting things together, makes them inherently accessible to those here who might be interested in, and for those who might pick it up at a later date. So I think it's an excellent tool to start tinkering with, to see how intuitive and how simple it is to get started, and how you can produce far more complex results than you might have expected with very little effort. And again, I use Python and C and C++ on a day-to-day basis, but I also use FME on a day-to-day basis because there are things that are just easier in it immediately as well.
Oh, thank you so much. While we're on an introduction, Tim, do you mind introducing yourself? We've got Tim Wharf from City of Moorabool, but yeah, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
That's all right. Thanks, Ellie. I'm Tim Wharf. I'm from Moorabool Shire in Victoria. So some of you may have seen me on LinkedIn. I know I've had training sessions with Sam. I've met up with Ellie regularly as well, and I've had contact with Ben up a little as well. So just come along today just to have a listen, if I can offer any advice or suggestions. We're about to do a similar session in Melbourne on Wednesday, face-to-face. So this is probably a good entry for me to see how we're looking at. I've been in local government for over 25 years now. Been a GIS officer for over 15. Used FME basically the whole time through. And I'm a sole GIS officer in our council, so anything I can automate or self-serve or just make my life easier, or if I'm away, things still work, things still happen. I use FME to do it. So yeah, it's kind of a lifesaver, godsend for us, being one person band, if you like, one man band. So I'm happy to listen, and you can ask me questions on the way through. Or I've created a FME user group for local government in LinkedIn as well. Just started that off, so I'm happy to share the URL for that if people want to join that and have a look and contribute. But I'm here as an observer, and if you've got any questions, let me know.
Thank you so much, Tim. I just want to say I really appreciate Tim. I messaged him and I said, in local government in SA, we do appreciate if we can get more experience first-hand users in our group, because we're quite new in it. So Tim kindly, as usual, is a very supportive man. If you don't have him on LinkedIn, I would suggest to actually add Tim Wharf on LinkedIn. He always shares a lot of insights there as well. Thank you so much. Shannon, do you mind just going next?
Hi everyone, I'm Shannon, the GIS officer at the town of Gawler. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. We've just purchased FME at the town of Gawler a few weeks ago, so I'm a brand new user of the program, just currently doing the basic training at the moment. But I can already see how good the program is and how easy it is to use, so look forward to seeing what other people are doing with it.
Thank you so much. Jody? Or Georgia, whoever is.
Sorry, we were on our seats, so we're just in the general public. I'm Jody. I'm the asset coordinator at Barossa Council, along with my colleague Georgia. She's our GI officer. We're just obviously interested in looking at it for a longer term benefits that might be available. I have used it before when I was at a previous council. So
Excellent. Thank you so much. And Georgia, are you able to introduce yourself or?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Georgia. I'm from the Barossa Council and I'm the GIS officer here. I haven't used FME before, so just getting a bit of an introduction and learning a bit more about it.
Cool. Thank you so much. And Nathan?
Nathan, I'm from Campbelltown City Council in South Australia. Not currently an FME user, but looking forward to learning a bit more about it because I believe it's capable of exporting out of our asset management system.
Excellent. What is your asset management system, Nathan?
That's Conquest.
Okay. Yeah. Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you so much. That's been amazing. And Emma, sorry, do you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, sure, no worries. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Emma Yates. I'm the marketing manager at One Spatial, and I helped Ellie set up the local government roundtables this year. So we're hosting this year. We're hosting in Sydney, Melbourne, and Adelaide. So you guys are the first.
Test case.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think thanks for that, Emma.
Thanks.
Excellent. So as I said today, it's more about talking to each other, sharing experiences, and we've got pretty good use cases and people that have used it. So with that said, I would like to ask Ben, if you don't mind, just give us a bit of an intro about what you do, what you experience with FME, and if you'd like to share your screen, more than welcome.
Yeah.
I need to bring that. Should I bring this?
Not using up there.
Give us a second. Oh, it will work, guys. I don't know why is it doing this. Yeah, over here. Can you share again?
Right, we can see it now.
Okay, great.
Yeah, okay, so glad to have Tim Wolf joining us here today because Tim is actually inadvertently one of the reasons I'm sitting here today. Most of you know David Florian. Before he left Esri Australia to embark on his current journey, him and I used to discuss what is a good GIS system a lot. And just very briefly for those of you that aren't in local government, typically local government environments are very embedded into the concept of a big viewer. And what I mean by that is geocortex, intramap, spectrum spatial analyst. These things that companies sell you to non-GIS professionals, a core viewing environment, and then that is linked to things via scripting, SQL, Python in the background, to help you present to all of your non-GIS people a mapping environment that is connected to other systems. Planners can click on a property parcel and see, the name and address register, the confidential information that the council holds And that's sort of, what we all, to some extent, deal with on a day-to-day basis, is serving 100, 200, 300 people this mapping environment. Now, in all councils, there are users that are very good spatial users. They can get into ArcGIS Pro themselves. They can do amazing things. A lot of engineers I've worked with that, do some great stuff in Art Pro. Remnant from the city of Salisbury is a good example of a man that really knows his core GIS stuff. So for those of us that have to administer these environments, the question constantly comes up, what's a good way to do it? And David and I have been talking about this. David was formerly the National Manager of Local Government in Esri, Australia, for those that don't know. And he mentioned to me last October that before I started at Mount Barker, that he'd seen a man over in Victoria called Tim Wharf give a presentation where he was using ArcGIS Online and FME in the background to surface attributes to ArcGIS Online and to have them visible in his mapping environment. And David was very, very impressed with the methodology of it. And I myself have always had a bit of a mission to move away from the big viewer and see if we can get something very usable and efficient using the software we've got, which is a very expensive Esri ELAs, rather than paying big license fees for other software to come in and do that for us, in a nutshell. And that's where FME has appealed to me. I've used it briefly many, many years ago, but I purchased it about 7 or 8 months ago. Our council is going through an entire IT restructure, moving from a totally Citrix hosted environment to local compute for the first time. So as I'm asking for servers, things to get built, both of them are being built on top of the other. We're getting there, it's going well, but I haven't been able to jump into FME as quickly as I would have liked. However, we have made a good start now. And if I can get my screen back up on the screen.
Sorry, please share it again.
I'm just going to, rather than showing you the biggest, most complicated and longest FME form that we've managed to build and going through that piece by piece, I'm just going to talk a little bit about how I've learnt to use FME and what I've done to get myself started and what some of the use cases are that you can really quite simply get your head around what this thing does and what it can do. And then you can work with consultancies like One Spatial, the amazing training that's offered by the FME Academy. It's all free, online. There's many options to continue yourself, but what we're looking at now is pretty obviously an experience build application. What this is showing us is open space at the City of Mount Barker. And we've been going through a massive consultancy, a lot of money, and they're looking at all of our different parks, how we classify them by hierarchy. So a couple of planners have been in here. They're not GIS users, but I've given them this so that they can come in and edit a feature, fill out its attributes, and do what they need to do as part of this consultancy. And a little thing that I put together using FME, and this is FME's form, used to be called their workbench. But anything that they've asked me to do with this consultancy and in the back end, and this is part of my learning journey, I've just come in here and got myself this workspace with, there's a few different things going on there. But let's start really, really basic. And I know that you can do this in ArcGIS Pro. But just as a learning exercise to get your head into what this thing does, I think it's a great way to start, is just to pick a few processes that you're doing anyway and do it in here just to show you a little different methodology. And I hope this doesn't take 100 years. I'm not going to wait for it. It shouldn't. It's a tiny, I deliberately picked this one as a tiny little one so it wouldn't suck up a lot of resources. And when that finishes, hopefully. So what this is I had a property inquiry saying, I want to pull out all of the properties that the Kidman Trail passes through in our council. So all I've done is suck in the Kidman Trail, just a line file, pulled in our cadastre table and joined them together and just said, right, where it crosses, where the Kidman Trail crosses a property, show us what they are. You know, my phone's internet notwithstanding, there we go, there's the trail. And eventually there'll be some cadastral parcels pop up on this map if the internet's time source. Not looking like it's been very kind of, oh, there we go, let's pull the whole Kidman Trail, that's great. But what this is doing, I think I probably clicked on the wrong thing. 72 properties have had the Kidman Trail pass through it. So that's what this should show as well. So, yeah, preview that. Because I think when I first started coming to these types of things, I sat there and saw these massive constructs and just thought, well, you know, how the hell am I even going to do that? There we go. I won't do any more of these because I'll show you what I'm doing in FME, but I won't run any more. But there we go. Trail is mostly run through the case in between the cadastre. So there's not a lot of properties that it's picked up, but real simple, real quick, stuff that you do every day as a spatial professional. But to get your head into it, pull in your Esri shape file, pull in your whatever you need, and the ability to drag and drop an Excel form in here, a map info tab file, absolutely anything, and then spit it out at the other end as whatever you like, has been a real game changer for us. And Meredy, I'll set this running, I won't wait for any visual results, but Meredy just wanted to know, as she was working on this editing in ArcGIS Online, and yes, of course, we can go into ArcGIS Pro, pull up the attributes, filter by editor or whatever. But I just built this little workflow that all it's doing is trimming a few attributes, busting up by her classification types, what she's been editing, and just doing a total length calculation for her. So when she goes to council, there's a brand new ArcGIS Online feature class being pumped out at the end of this, that we can just whack it in one map and say, hey, you've done X amount of edits throughout this process. Here they all are by classification. Spit it out as an ArcGIS. Now you can spit it out as an Excel sheet. Spit it out as a map info tab file. Spit it out as a geodatabase file, which is probably even better. It took me all of about half an hour, 40 minutes to put this together. And again, it's just anything now that I get asked to do that I think might be a repetitive process. This has gone on for a couple of weeks. So rather than going into Pro and messing around selecting by attribute, it tells Planner what she needs to know. When we've got Flow running, we can just automate this and have it run every night. At the moment, I just hit it whenever she asks me for where am I up to with my edits. I just literally push a button and it tells me. So this is the sort of thing that, to me, has just been absolutely invaluable. Over here, I've done a few other, connecting the parts of gardens hierarchy. I'll just show you another one real quick, whilst I've got this thing here open. Our cadastre is now being uploaded into a ArcGIS Online Experience Builder application. This is how our cadastre is currently being updated. And it is a little bit messy because we're going from a map info environment to an Esri environment in this workflow. And we're going from map info files on a server straight out to a feature class over here. Ultimately, that ends up being our cadastre. We've appended some street view links to our cadastre, our name and address, register details, etc. The one point I do really want to make, I've got really basic coding skills. I know there's people in the room, one sitting next to me right now, Stefan, who have got fantastic coding skills. In a council work like ours, where we have a big SQL, Python, what I call the black box, where people over the years with profound skills in these areas have written extensive code to come up with these things. And then they leave. It's getting harder and harder and harder to attract somebody, particularly outside of the city, to a council that not only has GIS skills, but it's not necessarily contemporaneous having GIS skills and extreme coding skills. They're not necessarily one and the same. And finding that is getting harder and harder. You do not have to know anything about coding really at all to come into a nicely annotated FME workflow and have a look at this. Zoom it up a bit bigger. So if I was a GIS person that knew nothing about code, and I'm like, right, here's our cadastral update. What does this do? It joins data from Authority Live, which is our property system, outputs the ArcGIS online, the secret left join. Join's currently on GIS ref number. We will revisit this. There's a little note about what we're going to change. Valuation number, very statement. This is one of our earliest phases of working through this. The point is, if this was ever to fail, a bit of this is going to go red. And anybody with a reasonable technical skill set can come in here and troubleshoot this. And for me, that's the main massive advantage of using FMEs. All of these little things that we're going to automate and set up in the flow to run for us all the time. It does require a learning and a skill set to get the skills to build these things. But when you do, others that don't have massive amounts of coding skill can come into these things and fairly easily navigate through them and troubleshoot. And for us, that's been a little bit of a game changer already. My offsider, Ian Malcolm, no experience with FME, hasn't done any training. And of course, he thought he'd make me look bad, and he did. He sat down in a day, and we had a process where there was an Excel sheet, the planning team that they would use to update development stage boundaries at our council. He pulled in the Excel sheet, he grabbed the old map info file, joined it all together, did some attribute trimming and some string replaces to get rid of funny characters within the Excel sheet, and spat that out to an ArcGIS online shapefile, which sits in our experience builder apps now. And it's just a clean process. Instead of him spending an hour a week manually updating our spatial data sets, we just hit run. And when FME flows up and running, we won't even have to just hit run, it'll just run for us, and we won't have to look at it again. Tim has got something I'd love him to show us if we get time today, where he's got the aesthetic to ArcGIS Online connector running. That's another really, really big one for us. Because when we've got this defect captured, go away, cancel, sorry. When you've got stuff like this, I've built this for the council. It's the first time these poor guys have ever been able to go out in the field and collect data electronically. Not all councils are as poorly advanced in the spatial space that Mount Barker was, but this is where we've moved from literally writing it down on a notepad and a piece of paper. And we can see from the FME workflow I showed you earlier, where we grabbed all of what Meredy was editing in that experience builder app, we are going to be using FME to take what is a nice GUI interface in the field with Esri's application suite and be able to bring that back into our property system, bring it back into our asset system, whatever system we need to bring that spatial data into. One of the largest considerations I've found that people or councils will use the apps native to the program. Confirm aesthetic is a good example. The app does a great job of going out and directly linking to the core software, but it has always been a poor user experience. You can't have your high resolution imagery underneath it. You're very limited with symbology. Being able to use Esri's lovely little suite of applications, FME is going to be the key for us to bring that data into the respective systems that it needs to go in, while maintaining a really nice user experience in the field. And for us, that's some of the biggest wins we're going to have. We will be able to deep dive and get a lot more. We have got some very complex flows running that we've been working with a consultancy to get some mentoring and get that happening. But I'll finish up by saying the expenditure that we've spent on FME has really been, I reckon, the best money we've spent in the last 18 months. It's already, Ian and myself are just getting our heads into what kind of process can I do in here and never have to repeat it. And using it to improve our integrations is game changing. I absolutely love it. And yeah, please join some of the groups like Tim sharing and stuff like that. Connect with myself. I mean, Leanne presented some fantastic stuff Port Adelaide's doing the last one. It's a really good bit of software, and I think just start slow. You don't have to look at these huge, complicated things to get started. Just pick something small. Pick something small, do it in there. You'll see how easy it is, and then from there you can progress very quickly through building up your knowledge set and your more complex data flows.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. That was excellent. Thank you. That was really good. So thanks for sharing that. And one thing that I forgot actually to mention, and Ben mentioned it, Safe Academy is a wealth of knowledge they've got. As Ben mentioned, any question you may have, it has been asked. So you can ask, you can find those answers. There's free trainings online. There's a lot of good use cases also discussing that. So please, if you want to know more, take advantage of what's available through Safe Software in Canada as well. So this was a really good conversation starter. I want to just also read what Tim mentioned as well. I find that now I am used to FME. I don't use normal GIS products to perform analysis and other data transformation tasks. FME process can be created to perform the task and output how you like. But you can see what the data is doing every step of the way when creating.
Sorry, Ellie, I'm just going to drop in. We can't see the screen again.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading what you guys see in the chat. Apologies.
Oh, sorry, no worries.
That's all right. That's why I didn't share, but that's a good point. I'll share anyway to just so we can, yeah. So Tim, did you want to mention anything about anything that you want to share?
Yeah, I'm just having a bit of a look on my computer at the moment. I've obviously been doing it a while, got lots of things that I've worked on. Let me just have a quick look here. I want to show quickly just a little bit of self-service. Actually, I don't think I need to be a presenter, Ellie, or I can't share. I don't know if you can change that on the fly or not.
We're not, Emma, can Tim share his screen?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, just
try again, please, Tim.
That's grayed out for me because I'm not a presenter.
Okay.
While you're sorting that out, from here, what's your thoughts? Have you had exposure to FME previously? And obviously, few people I know, but Dominic, Chris, Helen?
No, really, I ran into Ben a few months ago and he raved about it, so I thought I'd come out and have a look today.
To check it out, see what it is. Yeah, not a problem. Helen, you've been exposed. Yeah,
I've done a little bit, but it's been a little while.
Okay.
Basic translators.
Brilliant. So that's a great start. What do you yourself, Chris?
Yeah, basically the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Mapping flow for a bit.
Yes. Yeah, that's okay. Great. Yeah. And yourself, like?
Yeah, my exposure to FME was probably 15 years ago in the UK, working on a high-speed rail, and that was a major project where you had lots of engineering teams doing design work in CAD and MicroStation.
Yeah.
And that project chose GIS as the central repository for everything to communicate to broader teams and government and steering committee. So the workflow we developed in FME, and I won't take any credit for it, but it was using Workbench at the time, and it took CAD files, it exploded them into all their different layers, it renamed things, projected, combined, and then spat them out in tab and geodatabase format for ingestion into GIS.
Yes. Yeah.
As I say, that was 15 years ago. I'll be honest, that was very similar to what it did 15 years ago in terms of the workflow.
Yeah.
But extremely powerful. I'm curious, Ben, in an example like you showed, is there any direct integration into, say, ArcGIS Online, so that when a user
Yes.
wants to prompt something, it can be
Yes, it's still open. Can I share my screen again with real quick?
This is something I can definitely talk to as well.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
but I'll just show you really quickly if I can. It's open. Let's do it. Back up. I think it's this one. I'll just show you right now. Reader, add a reader, format ArcGIS Online. The parameters is me and admin, and this now just gives me access to every layer I've got in my AGOL groups. Right now, right now. So, I mean, I've got everything in reasonable structure with there's a great stuff, council and land movement 2024, we just, who cares at the moment. But yes, you can grab it. Not only can you just grab it from AGOL, more importantly, if you've got, like, our council has a lot of people deeply embedded in the spreadsheet, general managers, all of this stuff, it's just in spreadsheets. You can drag the spreadsheets in, connect them to your ArcGIS Online feature class, and then send it back out as another AGOL feature class.
And
which is really handy.
And in theory, then you can have a prompt or a trigger in AGOL to find a workflow.
Page detector, have an email trigger to send, you know, a notification to somebody that we're going to be building a large part of our back-end CRM structure around that idea with a public, similar to what Salisbury's got, Salesforce and ArcGIS Online, hosted publicly available map for location sourcing. And then all of our job request triggers and all of that are going to be pumped through FME. It's taking a little bit longer because we're doing it here, but I mean, straight away there, we've got our wastewater defect capture layer. And, you know, you can do the same thing with a writer out to anything at all, more formats. How many formats have we got? I mean, it's just
About 500 file formats in FME.
we can turn that AGOL feature.
This discussion of formats, sorry, Ben, is one of the things that a lot of people get interested in FME, is that FME lowers the bar of entry for tons of different formats. And actually, because I said earlier that even though I've got that program background, not on my work computer, on my personal computer, I've got FME installed as well, because I'll do things like file format conversions, and I'll go, okay, I could do this in Python. I think there's a library in Python, but I just can, as you say, Ben, drag and drop it in FME and set up a little process that converts A to B, and I'm done. So it's really handy. Just if you don't mind me just quickly, Ben, talking more about the Esri integration as well.
Please.
So it's not just AGOL, but FME. So Safe Software, who do FME, and Esri, they have a fairly well established partnership. And FME support for Esri products quite robust, quite diverse, because Esri is such a big player in this industry as well. That you have dedicated connectivity to AGOL, you have it to ArcGIS Portal, you can connect to enterprise geodatabases directly using SDE connection files and such. You can create and read from file geodatabases as well. It even goes as far as Esri out of the box has the FME out of the box has the not just its own reprojection engine, but it actually has the Esri library set for reprojections as well embedded into it. You can convert FME's entire reprojection library to Esri if you want to keep it more aligned with what your stack's doing potentially. So if you're replacing, say, legacy Esri processes with FME ones just to make them more automated, you can even minimize the risk of, say, drift and variances, distortion between your different reprojections that you're doing because you are aligning them. So there's a ton of different support for Esri products. And as you were showing earlier, Ben, you had that connection you were using. I think it was just called Ben Admin. A very helpful, very important detail to that little connection. What you had set up is that that's actually a secure container that all of your credentials have been embedded within. Your credentials associated with your AGOL account is not embedded anywhere in the workspace. If you gave me your workspace right now, I would have no possibility of brute forcing those out of your workspace because it lives isolated from it. So there's actually an embedded secrets management as part of this as well that protects those credentials when you hand around that workspace as well. So there's lots of different layers to supporting the Esri connectivity, but also securing it.
I mean, some of our workflows that I can't seem to find at the moment, but we've got connections now set up the same way we're discussing with select permissions to our property database, which is authority, our aesthetic database, which is via an API. We do limit what I don't need to see HR and payroll and all that stuff.
Yep,
But
probably
when
fair.
it comes to everything that we're storing in those embedded council systems that are always going to be there, I haven't found anything better to pull those together. I mean, there are people with skills to do some of this in Power Automate and with a lot of code, but I'm very, very happy and impressed with how far you can go without knowing all of that. For those of you that do, maybe less valuable. But for general work in the GIS space, this is game changing for us. It's letting people do things that we've never had the skill set to do otherwise.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it, actually, because it comes back to that visual programming medium. It's very, very easy to learn. And Ellie's heard this analogy I make a couple of times, but I always like to I don't know if anyone here has seen the Steve Jobs movie with Michael Fassbender. There's a really good scene in that where the question is back in the 80s, and the question is, why do we need mice on computers? Because ages ago it was all command line. And the scene, he says, if you had a stain on your shirt, I wouldn't say that you have a stain 5 centimeters down or 2 centimeters to the right of your collar. I'd point at your shirt and go, there's the stain. Tools like FME lean into that very well, is that there's a certain ease of entry into it because the very processes that you're building are visualized at the same time, that it leans into a way that we want to instinctively learn, instinctively work with, which is through an interactive visual medium. So for yourself and for others, I find that it makes it extremely accessible. So I'll start interjecting.
Sam, can you give just a really quick overview of the API creation that's coming up in 25?
The data virtualization.
Yeah, because that's really powerful too. It will be really powerful.
I'm very excited about that one. That is now live. So that's now not just tech release, it's actually officially been released as part of 2025.1. So for everyone's context, FME Flow, the web enterprise solution that for FME Flow's whole purpose in life is to offer the ability to wrap up processes like what Ben was showing before in enterprise integration patterns, being able to trigger it in response to events and such, and or having self-service portals. So you can actually build self-service portals on top of your workspaces. They're the two bits of functionality.
I'll show one of them in a minute. Sam.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
They're typically what I say the two bits of functionality FME Flow is for, and then tying in things like being able to say integrate Active Directory and have sort of user access management around that. But what Tim's talking about is a new bit of functionality called data virtualization. And what this allows you to do is very easily build custom API endpoints on top of your FME Flow, on top of your workspaces. So there's a new way to invoke your workspaces that's really, really accessible now. It's all built on the Open API standard. And basically, all you do through a user interface is you nominate the workspace, you nominate the details, the endpoints that you want. So say people can perform a GET request here. And what you're actually doing when someone sends that GET request or that POST request, whatever they're doing, whatever you've set up to FME Flow, your pre-configured workspace is actually sitting behind there and goes, okay, these are the details. I'm going to process my stuff and then send it back via that API. So back to your workspace has been what it could actually now be is that you are actually exposing endpoints for internal processes or other systems, external consumers to say, I want to request these assets from your feature classes that match this search, but it's all done via an API now. And so that API with the workspace there is basically the access point to your feature classes for others, and it's very, very quick, very easy to set up. It's all built to make custom APIs as accessible and easy to configure as possible. So that's a really good one to call out, Tim. It's a really, really handy bit of functionality in the very newest version.
Cool, thanks, Sam. I'll share my screen. Right, should be able to see that now, hopefully.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
So obviously I've got like nightly, weekly, 15-minute schedules based on data from other systems into our AGOL environment. So there's lots of schedules here. They all do different jobs at different times of the day, different frequencies. Could be months, weeks, days, hours, minutes, whatever you like. And they're all doing particular jobs, and they're just repeated the same over and over again. So for example, I've got a ArcGIS dashboard based on the SR data coming from our CRM that's got an API endpoint for all the requests. And all I do with this one is just say with the API, which we can create in the background as well because we can modify those, but just any of the works types, SRs that are outstanding at the moment based on an API call from that system. And then FME drags all the information into ArcGIS as point data. And then the dashboard takes care of the numbers and the graphs and all the rest of it. So then automatically it turns SR data into interactive data set. But FME just sits in the background, does the same job every 15 minutes. Any new ones come in, any old ones go out. So any completed ones go out. So within 15 minutes, they'll know, they'll know that there's a new job there or there's an old job there, or if they don't see it, it's been completed, it's all done. So just one of the schedule type things that every 15 minutes this updates. We didn't need to do it on live call as such, but 15 minutes is pretty close, and that just keeps ticking along in the background. One of the things Sam mentioned a minute ago was self-serve. So I get a lot of requests to say, I want drainage data from a particular area for a project so they can send it out to consultants. So I've created a FME Flow workspace app. So it's basically a process that's been published to FME Flow, and then you create an app out of it. So what I can do here is, let's say I want to do a project around this area here. I can say I want the output type to be either DWG or shapefiles or both. I'll just do shapefiles for the minute. And then I can choose which projection that's going to go to. So our whole council's in 9455, but I can choose lat longs or other things that I want to pick as part of the process. So I could do lat long, and then I can say I only want. So I've just put in these layers, and I can pick and choose and say, oh, I only really want pits and pipes for that output. And then I can say on the map, I want to draw a polygon or a rectangle. So just want to of that area. So automatically, because I did it on the map, it knows I want to do a call or an area of those coordinates based on what I drew. And it knows I'm going to do shape files. I'm going to do it in that projection. I only want pits and pipes. And here's the coordinates. Let's see how we go with a live demo. Give it a shot. So basically, FME Flow will just go away and look at those data sets that I've told it to look at, grab the area that I wanted to look at, and I'm just going to download this. I can use the shapefile website just to drag it up and have a look. Hopefully this will work. Can it work for me? It's not being my friend. Have a look in the shapefile itself. Oh, it's because there's two. Hang on. Are we able to in a sec? That'll be better. So there's the shape files for the area that I said here, based on the parameters I gave it. So I don't have to do that. As a GIS person, I don't have to do that. I can just give whoever needs it this webpage. And off they go to get that. So just to give you an example, a bit of self-serve you can send out. So it's really useful and saves you a bit of time if you know, if they're asking the same thing all the time and it's just, hang on, you could do this yourself if you like. So if you've got any questions on the way, just yell out. So another thing was we had, we've got a set of cloud here. So usually this is one asset class I haven't done yet in the process, but by default, we don't get a GIS picture within the set cloud. We don't get that. So I thought, oh, how can we work out the APIs to get from ArcGIS Online, because we've got all the objects in there, and publish those exact same objects into the same asset number, etc., and bring through the spatial objects so it shows here. So I created a workspace with the right APIs, the calls, the permissions, all that sort of thing. And I'll just show an example. So there's one there for that road segment. And it'll have that number 151682. And then now if I look at 151682, there's the road segment drawn out from ArcGIS Online based on the API call, what's in ArcGIS Online, and it just draws it in or adds it to the database. Another thing we did was we looked at the photos. So we wanted the photos for some reason in another system. So what I worked out is you could, so that's a imported photo into a set of cloud. And I've basically just said, I want to get the asset features. I want to call the document ID of a set of cloud. And then I want to do download the photo associated with that asset. And then it downloads it into a temporary location and then uploads it into SharePoint. So just another connector, another data type. So if I look in here, let's look at this first one. So that picture there has essentially come from that picture there. But the process will just do it if you set it up right, and you can write it to wherever you like. So I just happen to write it in SharePoint so other people can see it across the organisation. So just to give you an example of that. I know I've done heaps of different examples and so forth. I put a few on LinkedIn. We've got access to a road incident database at state government level that I just update into AGOL regularly. So that might be on 15 minutes as well, actually. But it's all about scheduling, self-service, creating workspace apps that you can just open up a web portal and just do your job, like with the self-serve one. Updating data in GIS, so it can just constantly keep ticking over, do what it needs to do, but all repeated, all the same. Just whenever you need. Survey 123 has got a webhook, so if you get a survey response in survey 123, FME can look at that webhook and send out an email to say, hey, I've got a response for that survey. So you can look at each individual one that way. Use FME to do weather checks when it's summer. So it looks at the BOM Bureau of Meteorology database and says, I think we've got Melbourne Airport as our designated area. If it hits 35, it sends out an email. If it stays at 36 for too long, it sends out another email. But FME is sitting in the background all the time doing that work. So I don't know. I guess I call it a little bit imagination to what you want to do, and then you just got to figure out what's the best way of doing that. So there's going to be lots of things. HR here is starting to use it without spatial, just to compare employee lists out of different systems. So 2 spreadsheets, they want to compare the 2 spreadsheets and see what's missing, what's new, what's changed from 2 systems that don't have API access. Ideally, they have API access, but they don't. So HR are using it for non-spatial work now too. So there's definitely, yeah, I do say imagination's the key in this one. You can sort of do what you can think of. Probably Sam and the others that have used a lot would attest to that. All sorts of different outputs, all sorts of different inputs, and sorts of translation schedules, triggers. Another one that triggers off an email box. If it gets an email, it strips it down and downloads the file. If a file in a data store, so a network drive, if that changes, run the process because the file's changed. So it's just so many different things you can do. It's just
Thanks
all
for that.
about learning how to do it and what it can do and what you want to do. So yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I think everyone just got a lot of.
And that right there, Tim, is why there was no way in hell I was talking after you.
That's all good. It's all good. Happy to share.
No, that was brilliant. Just that snippet of the work, especially like the amalgamation of geospatial data and non-spatial. So, for example, the example that Tim brought for BOM, that the temperature gauge, like the temperature coming through, and he's got a change detector, I'm assuming, sitting there. If the temperature goes above certain level, there's an email going to the staff that needs to be aware it's now 36 degrees. Stop working, or
Yeah, it's a
you're
stop
about
work
to.
alert.
That's
That's
a
exactly
really
what
good
it is.
example.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he can get onto, whoever needs to know at what point the email will be automated. Sam, you want to say something?
I was going to say, I used to be part of a trade well before uni. I've got a telecoms background. I can tell you, someone who was in the field, we did want to know the very second it was over 36 degrees and we could leave for the day. So it's important.
Yeah.
And the
No,
output could be
definitely.
anything. Like it could be a Twitter feed, it could be an email, it could be a spreadsheet, it could be a database.
Lots of different
There's so
ways
many
that
different
FME
things.
supports notifications. So there's a lot of support for more standard messaging protocols, things like Kafka and such. Things like, I don't know if we can call it a tweeter anymore. The transform is still called a tweeter because an Xer probably doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it?
No.
And I can't really put in the transformer Xer, formerly known as the tweeter. Like, it doesn't work. So it's still called the tweeter, that transformer, but there's integrations for Teams. If you want Teams bots, there's integrations for Slack. If you're a shop that works with Slack, lots of different, as Tim said, the email, lots of different ways to enable notifications, whether it's as simplistic as something run to completion or not, or more complex, more specific stuff to the content of a transformation. I processed this many records, 7 of them failed, 123 passed. XY who's on that bot channel, please check those 7. So it's very handy.
Excellent. All right. I think it will be good if we can just open it up now. Georgie and Leanne, you're also doing some good stuff with FME. If you like to share what's the update is, more than welcome to do that. And then I'd like to hear about from Jack and I think Stefan as what your thoughts so far is. But did you want to share a little bit about what you guys, I know last year we.
I'll say the next, Leanne.
Please.
Yeah. So I've, for ages and ages, been working on workspaces that read data from our asset management system tables, our GIS tables, and sort of create output into various layers out to ArcGIS Online. And our Salesforce implementation is map-based. So basically people can, if they've chosen a pothole, then it will bring up the roads layer. Or if they've chosen, illegal dumping, it'll bring another layer up. So we just have to maintain those layers in ArcGIS Online for Salesforce to consume. So I sort of learned the long way. This is why I've been working on it for ages, because we got FME and I decided that,
yeah, I'm going to do it like this. And so I've spent a long time creating all these workspaces. And in the end, I just thought, you know, I don't know if I've done this right. I might need some help. I'm a bit stuck. I don't know how to do error handling. And so we've engaged One Spatial. Sam is actually helping us in a sort of a mentoring, coaching role. And he was able to actually look at what I've done and basically suggest a better way. So we've gone and rewritten basically.
I don't think that will be
all
going
of
to
it.
waste or anything. There's a lot of learning.
I wish that, because it was a much faster track way of learning and checking what your design is. So if you're a learner, so if you come up with, you know, you come up with something kind of complex and you think it's all right, maybe just get somebody with a background to cast their eye over it and go, well, have you heard of the change detector? I wish I'd done that months earlier, but, you know, with Sam's help, we've, you know, been able to really fast track it. So we're getting near the end of that project. So, but yeah.
So this is going to be maintenance of those ArcGIS layers.
Yeah.
To be able to feed it to the Salesforce, whoever needs that data.
Yeah. Otherwise, you know, we've got plans. We've got a lot of Python scripts that we want to just replace. You know, that there might be Python scripts that a lot of them are Python scripts that push data out to ArcGIS online. So rather than do that programmatically, let's just have an FME workspace that's scheduled. And the benefit of that too, you know, is that I was involved in writing some of those scripts, but some of them were written by somebody else. And Leanne's not really got into the Python side of things. And, you know, I'm retiring soon and Leanne will be left with all this stuff. So it's great to have FME to be able to just, you know, create workflows that are that are accessible, as Sam says. So, and Leanne, you can talk about what you're being doing.
Yeah, so similar to what Tim demonstrated with the self-service app, we've just built something very similar, but for forestry data. So we get quite a number of users that want to get data out of forestry and having a CAD file format. So with digging around and research and with Sam's help, we got this self-service app built and I'm right on the cusp of rolling it out. I've just been playing around this morning with creating like our PAU gallery apps type homepage that we can start to add all these individual apps to and then push that out to users. So yeah, it just makes life a lot easier and sort of, you know, tries to free up a bit of resources from us. So it's only something small, but I'm pretty excited.
That is exciting. Self-service, I get excited about self-service every time I hear it. Anybody's on anything self-service.
I'm sure some, you know, kick off ideas for, oh, hey, can we have, you know,
something similar?
Can you do this? Or can you do this? So yeah, I'm really excited to see some of the self-service capabilities as well. So I think, if we can push more of that out to users, I think it's going to be a big win for us.
Excellent. No, that sounds exciting. No, well done. Thank you.
We're planning to provide access to FME or Ellen and Chris as well, so they've got a massive migration project, you know, going to a new asset management system. So it's hopefully going to come in handy for them as well. Yeah. So.
Brilliant. That's excellent. Well, once you have it in the council, especially for local government, because local government, it's unlimited licensing. It just makes sense to just expand it and just use it as much as you can within the organization as well. Yeah. So far, what is your thoughts? I know Dom and Stefan and Jack, I don't think you've got FME, do you see potentials, or do you see anything that, or have you learned anything today that you thought it's interesting that you didn't know, perhaps?
Definitely think of a few places that we could use it. Yeah. So at the moment, we're picking up a lot of data in GIS, in Confirm, that needs to go to Pathway.
Yep.
And at the moment, they're just manually keying it in.
Mm-hmm.
So that could potentially be something where it could be used.
Yep. And is that like a daily basis or weekly, or as it comes?
You wanted me that, so it's.
Okay. Yeah.
For us at West Torrens, we have basically always been in-house, everything done. So SQL databases, no worries. I'll connect servers, run my queries, and then anything else I'd use Python scripting for.
Yep.
But in the last few years, we've really pushed to try and do field maps apps, and just, cool apps on iPads.
Mm-hmm.
But with our security processes involved, we have to do two-factor and pre-authentication, which means none of those apps will connect to our GIS server inside because of the way Esri does their apps. So I've been trying to force the apps to work, but they don't work. So this might be a solution that I sort of try and use change detection, push my feature classes from inside to a goal account. Maybe that's the way forward.
Yeah.
If we do change detection both ways,
Okay.
that might be something that I might be looking forward to.
Okay.
So you're saying they can't access field maps?
No, not with our GIS server, because we use pre-authentication. So in field maps, when you try and load a service from my GIS server, you don't get access to it until you do a pre-authentication. So their solution, Esri's solution, is to turn it off. Yeah, no one in local government would have their GIS server or any server on the outside without authenticating before you have access to it. So I'm not sure how anyone.
I mean, we're accessing our server.
Have you got one in cloud?
No. So yeah, I don't know about this pre-authentication. Our users on their iPads, they do have to authenticate. They do Microsoft authentication in that environment. So when they open field maps, it will prompt them for a login, but they'll just click the organisation-wide button and then it reads who they are.
Yeah. So when you type, so for example, my GIS server is say arcgis.westtorrens, right? That's an internal server.
Oh, right. Yeah.
When you're outside, yes, when you're outside and you type that address,
yeah,
you don't even see that server
until
you've authenticated. And that's what breaks. That doesn't allow Esri doesn't allow that. They want you to basically go, hey, open the server up. Esri wants to see the authentication beforehand, which we won't allow, security-wise. So it is I'm not sure how other organisations do it, but our internal servers definitely won't be on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, the FME, if that does change detection, where I can point a feature class inside to one outside, and FME checks both ways.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the solution. Yeah. So then I can do all my field maps outside my server.
Okay.
So
that's pretty interesting use case.
Sam had a
Sam or team. Did you hear what Steph?
Yeah, well, I was gonna something I was gonna say on the back of what George is saying as well, because George was talking about the migration from the Esri Python. Something I was going to point out as well is that when it comes to sort of Esri-centric processes in FME, though ideally it's purely FME native, it's worth noting as well that FME does actually support, so FME has a built-in Python interpreter, but that can actually be converted to Esri Python as well. So it's got it's able to be an ArcPy interpreter in there. And depending on the level of complexity you want to go, you can actually get into the realms of really complex stuff within FME, leveraging ArcPy for stuff that FME may not do out of the box. Some examples from stuff that I've actually done is that I have, for example, retrieved lists of feature classes before even hitting them, or I've used ArcPy just to return to me what the fields are associated with a feature service in ArcGIS portal for, I can't name clients, but we built a basically a submission portal where people can submit data that will be published to ArcGIS portal. And when someone submitted that data, and it could be in a number of different formats, I'd actually do automatically a comparison between the fields received by that data set and for the pre-existing feature service that had already been published, if there were what those fields were, and then report on any drift that had occurred between those two, because different provisioners of data have different standards and habits around compliance. So you can sort of dictate what level of sort of complexity you want to be, how FME native you want to be, or if you want to have that extensibility into more Esri specific stuff through ArcPy and that as well. The authentication thing's interesting. I think I might have missed part of it, but I'd be curious to understand that one a little more as well. But then, yeah, as far as change detection is concerned, so change detection is extremely accessible in FME. There's, I think, Tim, you mentioned the change detector. So there's a change detector that makes determining differences based on some key value really easy. And there's actually even ways to do change detection on geometry as well. So there's a couple of different transforms that sit in the change detection family. And when we're talking about databases or feature classes and the change detection process, FME has this really handy mechanism of saying, so that's an insertion, that's a deletion, that's an update, and automatically creating those keywords that you might want to use for SQL style things. So you can actually tell FME, instead of just truncating and placing data, just as an included part of the output of the change detection, FME will go, hey, run this as an insertion. Hey, run this as a deletion on this key. Hey, run this as an update on this key as well. So not only are you determining the differences, but it's very easy to only apply those differences as well.
The works dashboard I showed you before, that has a change detector right at the end. So if the data hasn't changed much, it only writes a few records, and it's much quicker that way.
Yep. And then on the flip side, if you'd find it easier or more comfortable, better, like a better practice, FME also, depending on how much permission you give FME, has options to not just insert or update, but you can, through FME, truncate all existing data and then refresh it. You can even go really radical. You can actually drop and recreate tables and such as well. Things like feature services will be a little different here, but you can truncate all the data in a feature service. Some people prefer that because they like the idea of, well, I'm not going to orphan any data by having a bad insert or a bad update statement. Whereas on the flip side, people don't like truncating because you potentially have a downtime associated with a truncation. So
we do both. Yeah.
There you go. And that's the point, is that you kind of pick and choose what you want to do based on your situation, based on your preference.
Okay, excellent. Did it kind of, we can take that further and just have a chat later on, but it seems like that there's potential in here. We've got a little bit of time. I'm not in a hurry, but if there is anything other than you want to discuss, is there anything you want to mention? Any other questions?
Probably I'll just mention. Go.
No, you got Tim.
Just really quickly, and I know Sam says this in your training all the time, just for speed of workspaces, only bring in the data you want to use. So try and filter the data before you bring it in. Don't bring in 100,000 records if you only need 2,000, for example. It just makes it run so much faster if you can physically do it, like with a SQL query or something like that. Just don't bring in what you don't want to use. It's probably a good tip if you're just starting out.
Yeah, the wording I give it is never do more work than you need to. And you can apply that to FME. You can also apply that to yourself. I hope everyone's able to apply that to themselves.
Thanks for that. That's excellent. Sorry, Georgie, you want to?
Did you want to just summarise the licensing options? Because I mean, we've done the 3-year local government thing, but someone at a small council asked me how much it costs, and I thought, well, I don't know what the options are anymore.
Yeah,
That change.
so it is about the costing, it's population based. So for areas with a smaller population, it's a steal. City of Adelaide, for them, it's a little bit unbelievable, the cost for them, because they've got such a small area for. So it's just, when I know your population, I can give you a price for local government subscription, and that is provide you with unlimited access. If the price goes above a certain level, you get access to FME flow hosted, which for you wasn't useful anyway because of that is reset off. But there are a lot of options there. But as soon as I know your population, I've got pricing that I can provide you if you want to have ballpark figures. You can also, for example, especially for you, Kyle and Jess, perpetual pricing available as well for local government doesn't make sense at all, because the perpetual pricing is just, if you get 1 or 2 licenses, is much more than if they just go with the unlimited subscription. But we can discuss perpetual pricing. So with local governments, definitely worthwhile, especially regional councils, to look into. We've got City of Naracoorte Regional Council. Unfortunately, yeah, I still can't get in touch with Patrick. I'll have a chat with you just to talk. But yeah, there are Gola, town of Gola, Shannon, really good pricing for regionals, especially. And I think I really suggest that for regional councils for the exact reason that Tim mentioned. Usually one person has to do so much. Their job is not less than usually other councils, but they've got limited resources. So the good thing is that because it's a population-based pricing, it's worth it for them to inquire. They don't have to pay what you guys are paying. And it's, yeah, definitely reach out to me or whoever wants, just send them to me and I can provide them the pricing. Was that? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if the perpetual was still a thing.
It is a thing, but with local government, it's not a thing. It's not worth it. Unless I still have clients that they do have it in Western Australia. They've been with they've been with FME for a very long time. And that has been with one FME form licenses. And it's just, when you're used to something, that's what you continue with. So they've kind of really used that. What I want to show you, if I can share my screen, it's because we've got a bit of time. So as everyone mentioned, please seek. No, that's correct. Okay, great. So seek any free stuff that you can. We've got monthly webinars free in our Australian Standard Time, usually lunchtime, available FME, want a special solution, everything about GIS and data management. So take advantage of that, sign up for it, attend whichever you can. I think you've been going to some of them, am I correct? Or yeah.
The August ones, yes.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah. Yeah.
It's Thursdays, I believe.
Yeah, I've been looking your name pop up. Nice. So yeah, please take advantage of those. There a lot of the FME accelerator is coming up. That's 1.5 hours of free FME training. If you want to get yourself started, contact me, get a free trial. So we do provide free trial for you. You've especially got FME accelerator coming in next week, next Thursday. Get a free trial, set it up for yourself, get an accelerator, just see what you can do with what you've got. And yeah, so just sign up to that. The other things that I want to suggest, if you are with us, FME trainings, this year we got, I think Sampro has got the stats. We've got over 200-300 people going through trainings with us. Monthly FME beginner training, 2 or 3, 4 times a year, FME intermediate, advanced at FME floor trainings. As Ben mentioned, there's a lot of free online data and trainings available. This is if you like to be sitting down in Australian Standard Time with a trainer, usually Sam or one of our consultants. They're also good available options and pretty reasonable pricing for 2 days hands-on trainings.
Ask a quick question.
Please.
Is there a central library or repository of pre-configured workflows just to avoid?
That's a very good question. I'll ask Sam maybe if you don't mind.
So interestingly, you don't even need to know a pre-configured repository. as of FME 2025, so latest versions, FME comes pre-packaged with a ton of different examples that are at your fingertips the moment you open up the software, which is really, really handy. And I can, so I'm just trying to think if I can show this very quickly. Can I? Sorry, I'm just looking at my FME that has a whole heap of recent files listed in it that I can't really show. But there's I won't be able to do it on short notice, sorry. But basically, when you open up FME from scratch, you'll actually have a few options immediately in front of you. Things like, you know, opening up a new workspace, opening up an existing one. But there'll actually be a examples gallery as well that comes preloaded with tons of different examples that are from SAFE themselves, are verified by SAFE, and are also, there's a ton of different community ones. And I've got it open right now, and it's got about 200 examples in it, probably more. So
AI also is good. AI functionality that put in it. If you want to do a function that you don't know what transformer to use, you just put it in AI and just say, I want to join these two. What transformer should I use? And it just provides you an easy, I guess, response to that. Sam, while you're sharing, I actually forgotten. I'm so sorry about this online people. Nathan and Jody and Shannon, is there any question you guys have while Sam is sharing?
No, I'm okay, thanks.
Not a problem. Sorry about that.
I can do the screen share very quickly. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for a screen share, so the text might be a little slow because I possibly am one of those people who runs their resolution a bit high on the very large widescreen monitor. But just I'm using the examples I'm very strategically using the examples gallery to cover all of the work I've been doing recently. So I figured out my solution. So when you open up FME from new like this, and I hope people can see my screen, like I was saying, there's this examples button here where you can open up this huge catalog of just tons of different examples. Every single one of them, or at least the ones that are featured examples that are verified, will have well documented an overview and help and such, and explain what they're here to teach you. And if you go and actually choose one of them, it will download it for you and then open it up in yours, and you can go and learn from that as well. So they've taken it a step further. They've made examples pretty much at your fingertips as part of the software out of the box, which is really nice for when you're getting started. This is a really good feature. So this is actually this is something that we are going to be highlighting as part of our beginner training. So this is actually something that it's not going to be part of our training, opening it up, but it will be something we'll be very specific, calling it out as extracurricular material outside of the content of our training as well. Because part of the beginner training is saying, how do you learn about FME? Aside from this training and academy, how do you learn about FME? What are the good tricks? And one of the very obvious ones is open the examples gallery. Go have a look. So I hope that sort of answers the question.
Yeah, okay. Was there anything else? Any other questions?
Ellie, sorry, just a quick question. I just asked, this was confirming, is it population based? And if it's population based, what are you using as the population determination? Or is it rateable property based? The costing?
I usually just search population. It's roughly given me online. I think it is, must be rateable properties, I would assume. I don't know. I should know.
Significantly.
Are they really different?
Yeah.
Okay.
Population.
Sorry?
When we did ours, I think we talked.
Yeah. Population. Population. All right. Thank you. I should know this answer, but thanks for you to confirming that. But I will double check that, Jody, and come back to you. So I believe, well, based on what previously talked to, it seems like there's population, not rate base.
I think we're population. I think we were population too earlier. I remember talking about it a little while ago.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, population. That's what it is. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, it couldn't be.
No, not many people live.
Judy, was there anything? Oh, Shannon. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Shannon. Judy, was there anything else? Any other comments from yourself?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay, excellent. Thank you all for attending today's roundtable. The hope is that this will just, we want this community to continue. We want to be able to share ideas. Like, it was great, Ben. Thank you so much, and team, for sharing your experiences, the same as Georgie and Leanne. Thank you so much for sharing what you're doing. And again, thanks for contribution to the conversations. The hope is we just continue that. The next one could be, within a few months' time, but we'll let you know when would that be. And if there's any further interest, I'll follow it up with yourself, Dominic. Stefan, I'll follow up just to see any other questions that you want to ask from me. We can follow that. Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone online. Thank you so much for being with us, and apologies there was some hiccups and all of that. We managed it. I'll follow up with all of you. We've got the recording of this, so if you need to take it back to someone else to listen, we'll probably can share that with you. And yeah, please, before you go, take a cake. Unfortunately, started. I don't want to take that home. And thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a great one all.
Thanks for having me.